Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. Today I'm gonna do some work to the Cinquecento. And yes, I had really hoped that this video would be me starting to put a turbo on this car. But I stated in the previous video, I have a problem with the turbo kit that I bought because it's not the right turbo. It doesn't correspond to the papers, and if it doesn't correspond to the papers, there is no way of getting it legally on this car. And that is what I want to do. I have been considering making a track day car or something like that, just because I really like the thought about putting a turbo on a car. But it would be a shame. It's a nice car and a nice driver, so maybe that's not the... and also I don't know where to use a track day car. I haven't any racer license or anything. Anyway, I am still hoping that maybe one of you guys know someone who has a Novitec Sweetser S1 turbo lying around. But I don't think that is going to be the case. It is turning out to be an extremely rare item. Anyway, I had a hesitation issue on this car that I have actually fixed off camera. So I would just like to tell you about that one, because it had a slight hesitation at around 3,000 revolutions. And it was especially bad on partial throttle. If I gave it full throttle, it seemed to go away. This car is so old that I don't have any OBD stick or something like that that I can plug into. I think you can do with a special connector or something like that. Anyway, I took a chance on this one because I couldn't read anything wrong on any sensors, but I have experienced a problem like this before, and I know that most systems override the inputs from many sensors when you give the car full throttle. Because of that, I opted to change the O2 sensor. This car only has one. I changed it, and the hesitation has completely vanished. So now it's just running perfectly. But another thing that is a pretty common thing on these cars, I think, is the clutch is cable operated. The cable tends to, I think it's letting in moisture at some point or something like that. But either way, it begins to bind up. That will result in a cable that snaps, and then you will have no clutch whatsoever. The pedal will just fall to the floor, and then you cannot engage any gears or anything like that. Mine is close to that point. At the moment, it is very squeaky and noisy when I take my foot off the clutch. And another thing which is extremely annoying is that the pedal is now moving in increments. It won't follow my feet. If I press the clutch down and take my foot up, it will actually get stuck and then jump up, which makes it extremely difficult to drive this car in a controlled manner. So it's time to change that cable. So let me show you how bad this has become. And it's really making the car pretty unpleasant to drive. If I press it down, then maybe you can hear the noise. And if I try to release the clutch in a controlled manner, it will look like this. And that is not giving a very smooth ride. I have actually fixed this problem once. It was there when I got the car pretty much, and I lubricated the cable up. But after a month or something like that, it came back. So I think the cable is cracked and letting in moisture. So I'm just going to change it today, also because I think it's so stressed that it's just a matter of time before the cable will actually snap. So with the car up in the air, we can go down here. And right up there is where the cable actually goes in through the firewall and into the pedal. And I don't know if it picks up, but right there is a nut that keeps it in place. So that is the first thing we're going to... Whoops! Wow, that was annoying. Right there. Right there. One little nut. And then let's go into the cabin to release the cable from the pedal itself. But right in there we have the cable. This is a bit fiddly, but it's right there. And if I push the pedal towards myself, it will actually release all by itself, and then I can push it forward. Like this. It is now loose from the pedal. Then we're going to the engine bay. And then right here in front, we go underneath the car again. And then, next to the brand new O2 sensor, we have this cable going through the clutch arm. And because we now have released the cable from inside, we can put it forward. And that leaves a bit of room. And then it's just a matter of taking the locking nut off and the big nut off. And that is not a one-hand job for me, so I'm just gonna clamp this on here to hold the threaded rod, because as you can see it's rusty, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get off. And then I'm gonna undo that one, and I will do that now, but I don't think you will be able to see much. And then it's just a matter of undoing this rusty old nut. Oh, I just snapped it. Doesn't matter. It just snapped off the cable, and that was because I used this one. I did that because this doesn't matter. I just need to get the bolt off so I can fit it to the new cable. If you're going to reuse the cable, this was not the right way to do it. You will have to use a normal wrench and some penetrating fluid and so on. Either way, I think we are able to take the cable completely out now. Up there, that was where we took the bolt out. Oh, there's a bolt. There's another bolt up there. I didn't see that. There's two of them. Right up there. Right there is another one. Let me just take that out real quick. And there we go. I got the other bolt out. So now it should be just a matter of putting the cable out like that. There we go. And then the cable is out. What we need to use from the old cable is the gasket here. The new cable did not come with a new one. It really should, but we're just going to reuse this one on the new cable. And then just to show you what the issue actually is, I don't know if it picks up, but right here is a crack in the outer cable that will put water into the cable and rust it from the inside, and then making it hard to move. So this is trash. And then it's just this thingy that we need to take off the old and snapped cable end. And it's going off right now. And this is in two pieces, the big one and the smaller one to lock it. This goes on after we have installed the cable. And then it's just a reverse procedure to put it in. And I really hate those days when I work under a car that has just been out in the rain, because it's just drops of water in your face all the time. One end of the cable, and then do reattach it inside the cabin before fitting it in on the clutch arm in the engine bay, because either Otherwise it will be impossible. It is a little bit fiddly. Very fiddly indeed. Now it's just a matter of fitting the cable to the clutch arm and adjust it up. You would want to have a bit of free play when the clutch is released, so you're not having a clutch that is dragging all the time, but not so much free play that you don't disengage the clutch completely when clutching out, but it's pretty basic. I'm going to do that and take you back. Now this was just a small video. Now the clutch cable is fixed. I'm very dirty, but it wasn't a big job, but it was quite fiddly, especially fitting the cable back on the pedal. Now I should have a smooth operating clutch again, so it should make this car a bit more fun to drive. Especially parking has been somewhat exciting because it would just jump into the booth and stuff like that. So now it's fine. And yes, I still really like this car, but it has been a massive blow, this Novitec turbo thing, because having the car was fun. Having the car knowing that I was going to fit a turbo on it and everything was going after the plan to begin with was extremely exciting, to the point that I'm at now, where it doesn't seem to be a possibility to fit this turbo, because I don't think I'm gonna find that right turbo for this car to get it approved. So now it's just back to what it was when I began, which is still a pretty fun car, but just knowing what it could have been makes me a bit disheartened about this car, actually. Hopefully that will turn at some point, but because it is really a fun car to drive. Either way, thank you for watching, and yeah, see you in the next one.